Okay, little buddy. Are we going anywhere this week?
I don't know.
Superman? Yeah. Are we going to Japan?
No!
Are we going to Germany?
What? No.
No. What? No. We're not going to either one of those. No, we're just going to talk about some stuff today. And what are we going to talk about?
No.
We're going to talk about cropping.
What the fuck is that?
Right? Cropping. Was it a crop, Dylan, or not crop, Dylan? That's right. What is cropping? What is cropping all about? Is that about corn?
It's not.
Who pays gas?
Not me.
Somebody farted? Oh, it was probably you little rat bastard. So, cropping. That got to do with growing corn?
No. 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 No.
And wheat and stuff like that?
No. 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 No.
No. Well, what's it all about? Well, let's figure it out together. That's right. So, grab yourself something to eat or drink. Get yourself comfortable. All right, get out. Get your face out of the picture. And let's get it on.
Here I am, Vietnam. Rain is always coming down.
This is Camera Talk with Dr. Scott. And his usual little co-host, Dylan. Who's outside watching YouTube. Something on YouTube. Anyway, we'll leave him alone. He's happy.
Fuck off.
So, what are we talking about this week? Well, just as the intro says, to crop or not to crop? That is the question. Not really, but, you know, some people do consider to crop or not. Others crop all the time. Someone like me, I take advantage of it, for sure, for many different reasons, to which we'll talk about in a sec. And there are some diehards who are dead against it.
No!
The purists. No, you have to compose and get your lighting and everything. Everything in camera. Get the shot right the first time. Don't have to alter it. Don't have to edit it. There are those people out there. Good for you. I'm not one of them. So I'm from the camp of cropping. There was such a camp. I don't know.
And one time at band camp, we weren't supposed to have pillow fights, but we had a pillow fight, and it was so much fun.
But anyway, let's just say there's a camp cropping out there, and I'm one of the attendees of this camp. Anyway, why do we do it? Well, it depends, really, and it all comes down to you as the photographer. What's your vision? You know, what do you see your final photo looking like? What are you rendering? So anyway, some of these things can be a consideration of cropping, you know, depending on what that vision is. So it could be for a number of things, and let's go through them now. Maybe you need to improve your composition. And again, there's the other side of the fence who people say, well, you should get that right the first time.
You need to do better.
Well, good for you. Maybe you've got all the time. Maybe you've got all, you know, the subjects in place, the scenery, the props, whatever's in your photo composition. Maybe everything's great and that works out for you and there's no need to crop. Some of us don't have that luxury. So therefore, you know, we might need to crop in here or there to get your composition just right. Could be something to do with lighting.
Do you see the light? What light? Have you seen the light?
You know, maybe the lighting's a little too harsh on one side of the photo versus the other. And, you know, again, you could crop out that that harsh light on this side so that it doesn't seem so harsh for your final result. Could be. Maybe you want to emphasize the bokeh.
Rich, smooth, buttery bokeh.
A lot of people out there are bokeh fanatics, right? Some people don't give a crap or a crop about bokeh, but those who do, sometimes there's opportunities to emphasize that bokeh by a certain crop in on a certain area to emphasize that bokeh. It could be. Perhaps you were a little rushed, or a little forgetful, or like me, a little blind, can't see all that great far away.
You suck.
And you take the photo, you get it home, and you know it's, oh, I didn't see that was in there, or oh my God, there's a lamp post over there, or there's, you know, whatever it could be. So cropping is one way to correct mistakes, something that you admittedly should have had the foresight to see that you don't include it in the first place. But hey, sometimes
Shit happens.
maybe horizon's a little wonky. A crop can do that, you know, tilting off back onto a straight angle again could help. Aspect ratios. Again, alter that through cropping. Distractions. You know, you're trying to focus in on a beautiful model. In the park, and there's you know, a couple poodles off doing what dogs do. Just ruins the moment. Well, you can crop that out, right? Or you can leave it in there for a little comedic relief. It's up to you. You also use cropping for things like creating panoramas, right? You want a nice, great panoramic view of the Grand Canyon. So you take a photo here, a photo here, and a photo here, and with your software you can stitch them together and create a panorama to which you may have to crop out certain parts of each photo to make them match along the edges and whatnot. You can use, what a lot of people do is using crop as a way to zoom. So you're zooming in on something, and that's kind of what cropping does too. Is if you've ever done it before, if you have your digital image up on the screen and you crop out, you know, certain parts of the borders, bringing them in, and then hit enter, it blows up what you've got left over and brings it up into the center to fill the screen. And so it's kind of giving a zooming effect. Now, one of the things you have to keep in mind, though, with doing that, every time you crop, you're reducing the number of megapixels that you have. So if you have a 10 megapixel file and you start cropping like a maniac and cut out all these things, well, you may end up with only a 4 or 5 megapixel file. And what's the resolution going to look like? So that could be a downside. Now, one way to not worry so much about that is the higher megapixel sensors out there allow for, they're much more forgiving with the crop factors, because if you have, you know, 60 megapixel or like my A7R here with a 42 megapixel, it's more forgiving for some pretty drastic crops. And when, like I said, when it blows up your leftover result, it actually still has decent resolution, because now that 40, you know, you crop something out, now it turns it into a 28 or a 30 megapixel, which is pretty good still. I mean, you know, my Leica is a 24, and of course the same thing with that. You can crop in and still save some decent megapixels for the resolution. You know, if you're cropping out 24, cropping out the edges on it, you may end up with a 20 or an 18 megapixel resolution, which is still pretty good, because like my M9 like is an 18 to start with, you know, kind of thing. So you're getting, you know, you're reducing the number of megapixels, which could affect your resolution. So you just got to keep that in mind. Even with a high megapixel, like a 42 megapixel, if you over crop, you know, you crop, you know, you start out with an image this big and you're only interested in this and you crop it all the way down, you know, you're ending up with the same situation as I just described. You know, that your 42 megapixel ends up now being a 9 or a 10 megapixel, and you know, it may look okay on a small screen, but you know, you get that onto a large screen or a print, and it's not gonna look good because you've sacrificed that resolution.
They suck. They just suck.
So anyway, so that's you know, kind of just a quickie look at to crop or not to crop, and why do we crop in the first place. And as I said, there were a number of reasons: correcting mistakes, focusing on a specific subject, changing your aspect ratios,
At least we're not fucking idiots.
fixing your horizons. Maybe the lighting is a bit off. Your composition isn't the way you envisioned it. You want to focus in on the bokeh. You know, there's, as I said, there's a number of reasons why people choose to crop, and it's nice to have that option to be able to do so. And again, with today's technology, with the software and again the sensor size megapixel counts, allow for these options to be realized. And so therefore, again, it's a personal choice of yours. I mean, if you're you know, from the other side of the anti-crop school,
I'll show you the dark side.
you know, make sure your composition is right. Make sure your lighting is just right. Make sure your horizons are straight. Make sure you got your aspect ratios and no distractions, no telephone poles, no tree branches coming out of people's heads.
Oh, I don't want to talk about it.
You know, and so on and so forth. Make sure all of that is right the first shot. Now, again, it depends on the type of photography that you're doing. You know, if you're a landscape photographer and you're taking a photo of the mountain, really the only thing that's going to change in that whole situation is the weather. You know, whether it's the lighting or whether it's rain.
So, what are you trying to say?
You know, so forth and so on. But when you know, when you're taking photos of people, action, sports, these types of things, you have very little to zero control over the environment. So therefore, you're, you know, again, cropping is something that's a tool that you can use to get the final result that you're looking for. Now, again, with today's technology as well, there's a lot of editing software out there that can correct a lot of the things I just mentioned through the software. You know, click on a button, mask something, highlight something, and boop, it's gone. You know, or the light can get shifted from here to here, or the background can blur, or, you know, there's a lot of things you can do with software as well. But you can use cropping. Like I said, you can use cropping to resolve a lot of these issues. So, with that said, a lot of these. Oh, are you coming in to say hi? Oh, Dylan's had enough of his YouTube. So come on here, come see us. What have you got going on here? All right, turn around. So Dylan is now Superman. Are you Superman?
Superman!
Yes. We don't have to whisper. We're not in a library. Well, what do you got here? What is that?
Big loader.
Big what? Big poster?
Yes.
Yeah? And when you unroll them, there are pictures of, we got lions and, what's that, a jellyfish. And what do? You color them?
Yes.
Yeah, you get your crayons in color. Cool. Well, you're not going to do that here, so.
With cream.
Yeah, so you can always do that later. Wait for mommy to come back home and you can do that. So, I just finished talking about cropping. Is cropping something you're interested in?
Favorite color.
Yeah, 7 color.
Favorite color.
Yeah, your favorite color?
Yes.
What is your favorite color?
I want yellow.
Yes, I know, we did that
Yellow
in...
crayon.
Yeah, we've determined yellow is your favorite color.
Yellow crayon.
Yellow crayon. Yeah, well, I don't have one here. There's some up on the shelf over there, but we can get those. We can get those later. Which one of these is yellow? Is the lion yellow?
No. Yes.
I was gonna say, yeah. As far as crayons go, you should use yellow for the lion, at least for part of it, anyway. And the main.
Favorite color.
Yeah, we'll do the favorite color.
Rainbow color.
Rainbow colors.
Prancing down the street and I don't know, wearing a rainbow flag all the time.
Yeah.
Rainbow.
So why are you wearing a Superman mask? Why is Dylan Superman today? You feel like being a superhero?
Rainbow.
Are you a superhero?
Rainbow crayon.
Are you a superhero? Answer my question.
Fuck off. Rainbow. Rainbow crayon.
Your rainbow crayon. What's that got to do with Superman? Yeah. So, all right. Anyway, that's all I was going to talk about cropping, since Dylan's not interested in cropping. There's Dylan. Yeah, there's your Superman mask. Oh, thank you so much. So, anyway, so that was cropping. Whether you want to crop or I want to crop, anybody wants to crop, it's up to you. Yes, all right, Daddy will be Superman for a second. All right, so crop or not to crop? That is the question.
And now for something completely different.
All right, so what? You think Daddy looks like Superman?
Yes.
No, I don't think so. I guess he's never really seen Superman.
Big.
Yeah.
Big.
So anyway, that's it about cropping. And you know, again, where do we post our photos? Most of us. I'm gonna say not all of us, of course, but most of us out there. Where do we post?
Favorite.
Facebook, Instagram, you know, Flickr. What are you doing? All these different social media places and online. So again, the resolution isn't really that important because most people who view those photos view them where? View them on here, right? So it's all done through what's that?
Favorite color.
It's all done through through people's telephones. So it's not that big a deal. Oh, you want your...
No.
Yeah, you take it. No, you take it. All right, bye-bye.
Okay, that's it. Screw you guys. I'm going home.
All right, here. I'll throw it out there. You can take it with you. Woot. There you go. All right, bye-bye. Close the door. Close the door. Thank you. Okay. So, our daily interruption on Camera Talk with our little co-host, who didn't do a very good job co-hosting anything.
Shut up, you big fucking asshole.
So, anyway, speaking of distractions, one other thing I want to talk about is our, photo editing software that I use. I'll say we, it doesn't use anything, that I use. And who do I use? I use Luminar. Luminar Neo. Now I'm waiting for their latest, greatest one, Aperty's coming out, a portrait version of it. But I've, and I say version, not version.
You must tie her down on a bed and spank her.
The version that I want to use because I do mostly portrait photography anyway, so that's kind of more up my alley. So I pre-ordered it, but I'm waiting for it to be released. Anyhow, and then we'll talk about that when it comes out. But why do I use Luminar? Well, mainly because it has a lot of things that really help me with my workflow, and that's AI, because I need all the help I can get.
This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it.
So it helps speed up things because there's a lot of click, 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 and I'm done. You know, the AI analyzes it, takes a lot of the effort out of my editing. And one of the, as example, one of the tools I like is spot and dust removal. So I use that as an example when I talk about Luminar, because I can say that, oh, now he's out there singing Jingle Bells in August. So anyhow, the software will analyze your photo, right? So you're down at the beach, let's say as a scenario, you're down at the beach, taking some photos of some hot babes on the beach. When the wife's off getting refreshments somewhere, so she's not noticing, you click, get some photos of those hot babes. You get home, pull them up on the monitor. Again, hopefully the wife's doing something else, or maybe she's out shopping, or who knows, but anyway, you've got some private moments to check out those hot babes, pull them up on the monitor, and voila, they weren't as hot as you thought they were. There's that bad eyesight I mentioned earlier. So, but you also notice in the background there may be some spots up in the sky. But you were like, well, wait a minute, those are seagulls. No, a flock of real birds. But there's spots in there too. So you're like, oh man, what is these spots? Well, it's a dirty sensor, right? You've been taking the lens on and off all day, sea spray and all kinds of who knows what else is is getting on. Sorry, he kills me with his thinks he's a great singer.
Shut the fuck up.
Anyway, so AI will analyze your photo. It will tell the difference between the birds and the spots, and it'll remove the spots.
Yay!
How cool is that, right? So again, unfortunately, it won't fix the babe situation. You know, it's not that great of AI. But it can also do the same thing with power lines. In the same erase tool, it has a power line removal. And same thing, you're out there on the street taking some photos of some cool old buildings and thinking, wow, this would look great over my fireplace. But then when you get home, you pull it up on the screen, and lo and behold, I don't know how this got past you the first time, kind of like we talked about with the cropping thing. You didn't compositionally set your photo properly, and there were power lines all over the place, right? Well, AI can analyze a photo, recognize those power lines, and remove them for you. Now in my sample here, you see the power lines are crossing through the building, which has also lines through it. So therefore it may confuse the power lines with the lines in the building and miss some of them. You might have to go in and brush up here and there. But hey, it's not perfect.
You talking to me?
Well, it wants to be, but it's not. So anyway, but it's still better than having to brush them all out from the beginning. So anyway, it speeds up that workflow. Other than that, you know, it has things like background removal. To remove background, put another one in there if you want. It has features like scene relighting. He's throwing me off with his Christmas music here in the summertime. But anyway, scene relighting, so again, it can subtly shift light from one side to the other. And again, that's pretty cool. Like we said about cropping, doing that. Well, you can do this with software. You could do portrait AI, which again allows for blurring out the background and things like this. Very cool. It has super sharpening and what's the other one? Noise reduction. Again, it can get some of that little spotty noise if your ISO is too high in dark situations and whatnot. So it's very cool. Anyway, it's economical, so I recommend it through that. If you click on the link in the description below, you can order Luminar through Skylum through that link, and it will take a percentage off of your cost. Hey, who doesn't want to save some bucks, right? And what does it do with that? What does it do with that savings?
Talk it out, man.
Besides that, it gives it to me so that I could do that with the savings. So anyway, so get yourself a copy of Luminar, and you're also doing them a favor, keeping them going, because they're located in Ukraine, and everybody knows what's going on in Ukraine, right? So yeah, you're doing them a favor, because they're putting out these software updates, which are free updates and everything all the time while bombs are dropping, and lately they just invaded Russia on their own. So hey, kudos to them. Looks good on you, Uncle Vlad. So anyway, get yourself a copy of Luminar. Other than that, well, what else can you do to support our channel?
Oh, yes.
Well, besides that, you can subscribe. That's right. And I'm left-handed, so subscribe. That's right. And there's power in using both hands. So why don't we try to drown out Dylan and subscribe? Besides subscribers, what else does YouTube like? Now, besides that, well, they also like the thumbs up, right? So give us a thumbs up, and we'll give you a little taste of Dylan's girlfriends, since he's not here to defend them. The Thumbs Up Girls, and they got a little song that goes something like this: thumbs up, do 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 do, thumbs up. Aren't they cute? All right, so other than that, well, who are we? I'm Dr. Scott. The karaoke boy out there with jingle bells is Dylan.
D-J-A-N-G-O. The D is silent.
And collectively, we are all Modesty Photography. We're here to talk about tips and tricks about photography, vintage cameras, vintage lenses, camera systems, camera techniques, photography stuff, you name it, we'll talk about it.
It actually really sucks. That kind of cringe level where your sphincter pucker is kind of horrible.
So anyway, we do one of these mostly every Friday, and that's Friday Vietnam time.
Good morning, Vietnam!
So that could be the day before you, or the day after you, or maybe the same day as you. It just depends on your funky time zone. So anyway, should you come back next week? I think you should. Why? Because you belong here. That's right, and where do you belong? This was Camera Talk with Dr. Scott and Singing Dylan, who's, I think, trying to get louder as the moments go by here. Good for him. So, that's it. That's all I got to say. I'm sure you're happy about that. Anyway, so I'm going to take off. You're free to go. Have a nice day. We'll see you on the rebound. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for coming back next week. And thank you for just being you. Okay. All right, that's it. Let's get out of here. All right, bye-bye.
Here I am, Vietnam.